Psychological archetypes drive human behavior. For instance, they explain sexual attraction, why many women seek marriage and motherhood, why most men are attracted to women and wish to be fathers. Archetypes explain why some people seek power while others are content to serve. They explain why some people pursue knowledge while others create art. Archetypes help us understand all kinds of people, and they help us understand our own drives and motivations. The simplest descriptions of human behavior use just two archetypes. These are masculine and feminine. Here, human behavior is divided into male traits and female traits. In 1992, John Gray published a best-selling book which did exactly that. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I read this book years later and thought it offered useful insights into male and female mentalities. Still, although popular with the public, the book drew much criticism from professional psychologists. The reason I read the book has to do with the dream I'm going to describe and what came out of it. And that was not 2 but 8 psychological drives, 4 masculine and 4 feminine. They explain why people want to become doctors or teachers, musicians, beauticians, or bus drivers. It all has to do with how these archetypes manifest within us, driving our thoughts and feelings. Back in September 1981, after a few emotionally challenging years in New York City, I had a dream that led to the 8 archetypes. In the dream, I entered a shop and saw British and Canadian postage stamps in a glass case. Stamps also mean impressions. Dream symbols are often puns. The stamps symbolized life impressions. To buy a stamp meant acquiring a new experience. None of the stamps appealed to me. Then the dream shifted, and I found myself leafing through an old book that belonged to my father. I flipped backwards through the pages, not expecting to find anything of interest. In the middle of the book, I came upon a series of photographs that depicted a sociological experiment. Because I started from the back of the book, the first photo I saw showed the outcome of the experiment. I looked down into a room where 4 beds were positioned closely together in a square formation. Upon each bed, resting peacefully on their backs, lay a young man and a young woman. The 4 couples looked identical. Then I paged forward and saw the first photograph, which showed conditions at the start of the experiment. The men in the top 2 beds remained, but their female partners were gone. The couple in the bottom left bed was still there. The problem was in the bottom right bed. The 2 women who should be in the top 2 beds were lying together in the bed that belonged to the man and woman beneath them. So the purpose of the sociological experiment was to get these 2 women into their proper places, alongside their male partners. I continued to turn the pages. At the front of the book, I found references to the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung. Apparently, the experiment was based on his work. I woke soon after the dream and recalled most of it. The image of 4 couples lying on 4 double beds stood out. Because I had paged through the book backwards, I was sure the dream referred to events in my recent past. I was also sure the dream symbolized mental adjustments I had made during that emotionally taxing time. Surprising, though, was that the dream described a sociological experiment and not a psychological one. Carl Jung was, after all, a psychologist. The dream suggested that I was not a single person, at least not mentally, but 8 different people, 4 masculine and 4 feminine. 4 couples, 8 different states of mind. I was sure that the male side of each couple represented thoughts and ideas. The female side had to represent feelings. 4 different thinking states of mind, 4 different feeling states of mind. But what exactly were they? The 4 couples looked identical, so the dream offered no clues. I had been studying my dreams for a couple of years and realized that the source of dreams knew things about me I did not know, that I could not know. So I reasoned that the source of dreams would know what each of the 8 people on the beds represented. Insights came in dribs and drabs, the way insights do, by allowing the creative mind to suggest meanings. Eventually, I settled on interpretations that felt right and thought right. Many of them came during solitary walks when my mind was tired and idling. It was as if my brain's defenses were down and the source of dreams could slip an idea into my head. Now, the dream analysis. I began with the 4 male figures and thought that one of them had to do with decision-making. Another had to be the doer, the one that carries out the decisions. That made sense because the mental state in which I made my best decisions was not the one that best acted upon them. Decision-making and action require different mental focuses. Nothing good comes out of muddled thinking. The other two male characters, I realized, must have to do with knowledge. Both the decision-maker and the worker need knowledge to do their jobs well. One of the two remaining men had to be a knowledge seeker and problem solver, someone who absorbs knowledge and thinks well. That meant the fourth male had to be a communicator of ideas, someone who could both absorb ideas and relay them to others. So the two remaining male characters work together to gather information, digest it, use it to solve problems, and communicate knowledge to the decision-maker and the worker. This had to be the correct interpretation of the four males in the dream. It just felt right. The symmetry was appealing. I decided to call these four mental functions North, South, East, and West. North was the decision-maker, South the worker, West the thinker, and East the communicator. Good. Now what about the four females in the dream? That was a puzzle because I don't identify as feminine. I had earlier deduced that the male figures in the dream represented idea-driven traits and the females represented feeling traits. Because the dream showed the traits as male-female pairings, the four females, once in their proper places, had to be the feeling equivalents of the four men. So one of them had to be a decision-maker who relied on feelings and not ideas to make decisions. Any of us who follows our gut instinct uses this trait. A decision-maker needs a doer, which means that another of the four women had to be the feeling-driven worker. This is the ability to do things by rote, without thinking, simple tasks we do all the time. I decided to name the four feeling traits after the four primary colors: blue, red, yellow, and green. Blue was the feeling equivalent of North. She was the decision-maker that relies on her feelings to make decisions. Red, then, had to be the feeling-based worker. So far, so good. That left yellow and green, and these two were difficult to puzzle out. I knew that yellow was the feeling side of West, the knowledge seeker and problem solver. But what was that? Gren was easier to figure out because it had to be the feeling side of East, which communicated through ideas. Green had to communicate through feelings. This is done through facial expression, tone of voice, gesture, touch. Green picks up on other people's feelings and responds appropriately. She is empathic. Now what about yellow? This was the hardest to figure out. I knew that West was focused inward, upon ideas, and that thoughts are expressions of ideas. That meant yellow also had to be internally focused, but upon feelings which yellow needed to express. Suddenly I had it. Yellow was the source of creativity. Yellow expressed internal feelings, just as West expressed internal ideas. This made sense as my best ideas often emerge from deep internal feelings. North and blue, South and red, East and green, West and yellow. Now I had a grip on all 8 of my mental capabilities. These ideas have held up for over 20 years. They continue to help me understand different types of people and why they act as they do and how they see the world and their place in it. These 8 archetypes explain a lot about people's motivations. Now, I'd like to introduce the creator of this video. Hello, Malcolm.
Hello, George.
Why call me George?
That's the name of your voice. You are an AI-generated avatar based on a photo of me from 10 years ago.
So are we related?
Yes, your words are my words.
That may be true, but I speak better
That's
than
why
you do.
exist.
I look better too.
I'll let you end this video as you speak better than I do.
I look better too. Here goes. This video is the first of a series concerning the 8 psychological archetypes. It will culminate with a video that shows how all 8 converge to create a fully developed human mind. These are new concepts you will not have seen or read about. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to read more about the archetypes, here are 2 novels that explore them further. Both are available on Amazon.com in paperback or Kindle ebook.
Thank you, Avatar. You'll be back.